Cocaine Bear was directed by Elizabeth Banks, who also directed Charlie's Angels. And if it wasn't for the fact that the movie's called Cocaine Bear, I would have rather clawed my eyes out than go see it. But luckily, this movie was as much of a good time as you'd expect it to be. And in case you couldn't tell from the title, the film is about a 500-pound black bear that consumes a significant amount of cocaine and embarks on a drug-fueled rampage. And they say the film's based on a true story. I think all of us are a little skeptical on what percentage of that is true. But regardless, I had a blast with this film. My fiance and I went together, and we had a packed theater, and everyone was laughing the entire time. And right off the bat, people are going to judge this film because it is a dumb concept, but it's kind of like Beast from last year, where if you go in just ready to have fun and turn your brain off, you're going to have a blast with it. It's one of those streaming movies that you sit around with your buddies and watch on TV, but that's not to say that you won't have a great time if you go into the theater to see it as well. And as far as the plot goes, I can see that being a big point of criticism for other reviewers, but as far as I'm concerned, I thought it was perfectly serviceable for the movie that this is. I mean, we're talking about a bear that does cocaine and goes and kills a bunch of people in a comedic way. It's not going to break new ground or do something totally new. It's a super generic plot that serves as a driver for a funny and entertaining movie. And a movie like this doesn't really need a plot. I mean, the focus is on this CGI bear that loves cocaine a little bit too much. And as far as the CGI goes, for the budget, I thought they did a pretty good job. The film's CG benefited from the fact that it was such a goofy movie that they could have the bear do these insane stunts that I don't think will strike anybody as odd because the movie's already so bizarre. And I enjoyed the fact that they didn't show the bear too much. There's these different groups of characters in the forest that we're following, and you're not sure where the bear's at, so when it's cutting between characters, you don't know if he's gonna pop out somewhere. So it kept me on the edge of my seat throughout the entire runtime, and the runtime is a little bit daunting. I think that's something people are gonna look at and say, seriously, Cocaine Bear's 2 hours long? But it didn't feel long to me, and I didn't get the sense that anybody else thought so either. And I think the reason for that is because it never drags. It ended right where it needed to. I think other movies would have kept going, and that could have really hurt it. And I thought it had a great mix of some really dark comedy where you're literally watching a bear maul somebody and somehow that's funny. And then the film also had another type of comedy going for it. You have these two characters played by O'Shea Jackson Jr. and Alden Ehrenreich, and they have this great chemistry with each other, and it makes the movie funny in a different, more light kind of way. I just thought it was a nice contrast and added some levity to the darker humor on the other end. Also, I have to say, O'Shea Jackson Jr. is a really good actor. And then you have Kerry Russell's character who's trying to find and protect these two kids. That storyline dragged a little bit, but what made it so much better is Henry. Henry, who's played by Christian Convery, is super funny in the film. He has some of the best one-liners. I feel like he saved that entire other storyline, and I haven't really seen him in anything else, so I hope to see him more. And am I the only one that thinks this kid is like a mini David Spade? And then to make matters weirder, you have Jesse Tyler Ferguson in the movie for a little bit, and when he first came on screen, I thought that was David Spade. So there are multiple times when I'm just confused that I keep thinking David Spade or his son is in this movie and he's not. But other than them, it was also great to see Ray Liotta, and I guess probably his last performance we'll see. He gives, of course, the best performance in the movie, but unfortunately, the great performances pretty much stop there. A lot of the acting was really shaky, and I did think it made Cocaine Bear feel a little bit more like a B movie than the other aspects of the movie we're going for. But as ridiculous as this movie is, I didn't really care, to be honest. But what I did have an issue with were the conflicting tones throughout the entire film. As I alluded to earlier, everyone in the theater was laughing the entire time, including myself, so you can tell people were having a great time with it, but there was also this feeling of confliction between the funniness of the movie and the dark comedy that works really well, and the serious aspects the movie was gunning way too hard for. Especially once we got to the third act, it felt like the movie was trying way too hard to take itself more seriously, which conflicted super heavily against the goofy tone of the rest of the movie. I thought this was a huge misstep because you could tell everyone was on board with this film, it never got boring, but then when they started trying this serious thing, the theater went silent, and I know I wasn't the only one that felt like it was totally unnecessary, and if you were going to cut down the runtime, that's where I would cut it. The film also tries to throw in a good wholesome message at some point in the third act, and it's like, why? There was no setup for that. It was just totally out of left field. It's not like the message was a joke in and of itself. I think the movie was trying to take itself a little bit seriously at that point, and it just didn't work. But besides those nitpicks, you're going to go in and have a blast with Cocaine Bear. I definitely think for some people this could be a wait for streaming type of movie, one that you you sit on the couch and watch with your buddies and don't really pay full attention to. But at the same time, everyone was having such a blast in the theater, I feel like I'd be wrong to say that you shouldn't go to the theater and go see it, because it was a really good time. Let me know in the comments, what did you think of Cocaine Bear, and thank you guys as always for all the support on this channel. I'm still brainstorming ideas for a rating system. I want to start rating movies at the end of my reviews, so let me know in the comments also if you have any ideas for that. Anyway, thanks as always for watching. See ya.